episode 991, The Happiness Killer.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Staring at a stop sign, watching people drive by.
Happy day. It is Wellness Wednesday, and we're going to get into a mystery. It's all about the happiness killer. I feel like we should have some really wild music here, but you know what? You'll just have to wait and find out what happens with the happiness killer. For those of you who are brand new to Create You Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple Strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, there is one thing in life that is robbing you of optimal health and well-being. It's the happiness killer. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I know I'm really dating myself, but there was a show way back when called Murder, She Wrote, and I feel like that's what we're talking about. This killer that is in our life every day. The happiness killer, it sneaks in and it creeps through the day in the nooks and crannies of your schedule. It even finds you in the night. At times, you don't even know it's present, but the happiness killer leaves its mark. The happiness killer is stress. S-T-R-E-S-S with an exclamation point. Stress. Now, I'm sure you probably thought, well, this isn't anything new. But actually, we don't give stress enough credit. Yes, I'm here to tell you that stress deserves a little applause. A roundabout applause. Oh, yes. Woo, 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 woo. Bring it out because it's killing you. It's killing your healthy lifestyle. And for that, you might as well take your hat off because you're living it every single day. You're allowing stress to do the damage that it does. Stress is a common denominator in your life's equation. Think about how much it's connected. Stress is connected to your weight. It's connected to your attitude. It's connected to your metabolism, how well your body's working and processing chemically, your hormones. Stress is connected to your mindset. Stress is connected to your sleep, to your nutrition, how much you want to eat or what you don't want to eat, or maybe what you indulge in a little bit too much. Stress is connected to what? Your emotional well-being, your relationships. It's connected to your hope. And we could go on and on and on and on and on. Stress is the common denominator in your life's equation. It causes your body to work harder. Essentially, your body is at war chemically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. Ultimately, your body is trying to compensate for the physiological disruptions, and there are a lot of those in your life when it comes to stress. Now, back in the olden days, let's go back to the caveman days. Even before then, we, lived a life of, okay, we would have to go and hunt for our food. And we went hunting for our food, and sometimes we would be met by a big black bear. And that big black bear would scare the bejeebers out of us. And we would hurry and hustle and run for safety. And guess what? All that stress and buildup that we had for maybe a couple days would vanish. It would be gone. Because our body used it chemically. And I'm not going to get into all the craziness of hormones and how it works with the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland and the adrenal glands and how it releases all the stress. No, we're not going into that right now today. But what I want you to understand, that stress is always present. But in the olden days, we could deal with it. Why? Because we went out and searching for food and we were met by a bear. And so we released that. We were able to get it out of our system. We flushed it out. Think about that we have to excrete on a daily basis. I know, I'm so sorry, TMI. But we're talking about your wellness here. We're talking about your health, your well-being. Just like we excrete our yucky stuff. Yes, we have a bowel movement. I know. It's important that we have these. We need to get rid of our stress that's chemically held within our body, in our bloodstream, how it's pumped through. Some of us handle stress better than others. And there might be certain seasons in your life that you're just not dealing well with stress. Your body can't handle it. Because why? It's affecting everything. Maybe your sleep patterns, your mindset, your hormones are all out of whack. And yes, could be because just of the situation that you're in, the season of life. The happiness killer, which is stress, sabotages your desire for a healthy lifestyle. I don't know how many times I have this question that comes up. Christiane, I am doing everything right. I'm eating right. I'm exercising. I'm not overdoing it. But for some strange, odd reason, my body isn't doing a darned thing like it's supposed to. I know I can lose easily 10, maybe 15, even 20, 25 pounds, but it's not releasing. I was able to release a little bit, but now it's like it's not doing anything. I'm stuck. And it's not just this plateau. It's more than a plateau. You can hit a plateau for a couple weeks to 6 weeks, not a big deal. That comes and goes. Your body, there's issues with that. And it can be changed up based on what you're feeding it nutritionally, how you are stressing it versus not stressing it. Because your body says, whoa, it puts on the brakes. Whoa. Think about when you weren't looking and paying attention, maybe reaching down for that cell phone while you were driving. And all of a sudden, there's a car stopped in front of you, and you slam on those brakes. Your body goes through that motion every single time when stress is involved. And it goes, oh, and it just tightens up everything. Now, you're not necessarily going to physically feel that, but it goes through these panics. And the more you have them, the more everything is being sent off. Like you've probably heard of cortisol. Oh, yeah, cortisol is not our friend unless we're trying to run away from that big black bear. In the olden days, that's great. But we don't have that anymore, right? Most of us are not facing big black bears around the corner. You're not going out searching for food with your bow and arrow. It doesn't work that way anymore. Praise the Lord for that. So we do have little things to be, happy about. But the problem is the way our bodies were made because of how we have advanced in our lifestyle, how we have technology. We sit more than we are active. And it's not just, I'm not going to go into that the chair is killing us, that sitting is the next thing to, is your next thing with tobacco. That's what they're saying. I'm not going to go into all of that. What I'm here to tell you is that stress causes the body to work harder. And ultimately, it's trying to compensate for the psychological and physiological disruptions. So it's important to understand where stress can show up. I want to talk about 3 areas today. See if you can relate to this, find it in your life. And I really want you to think about this. Your sleep. Stress affects your sleep because it gets in there and our bodies, we can't settle down. And already we have issues with the quote unquote blue lights, our technology, our phones and our tablets. They keep us up, even our TVs. We have so many things around, our alarm clocks, whatever it is that's around you, this blue light that's being emitted, that is also having an effect. But stress has even a bigger effect on sleep. Why? Because it messes up your whole system as to when you're supposed to go to bed, naturally when your body feels tired. Because if you're stressed, you're what? You're worried. You're concerned. And that's throwing what? Chemically, your body into war. That's where you don't want to be. So you have trouble sleeping. Whether you go to bed early and you get up early, or you go to bed late thinking you'll sleep later, but you still get up early. It doesn't matter how you change things. You're still not getting the kind of sleep that you really need to be getting. So you're walking around very fatigued. You're tired. And you don't quite get it. There's this stress. You may not even know that it's there, but it's there. Your appetite. How many times have you been in a situation in your life where you just aren't hungry? You just don't really care to eat. You know you should, but you just really, it's not that you don't desire it, but it's like, well, it's just not there. What do? Yet all of a sudden, then you want to indulge in sugary and fatty food. Stress shows up in your appetite. It shows up in your sleep. It also shows up in your attitude, our feelings and emotions. And that can be very detrimental to our relationships. Think about your marriage. Go back to a time, maybe it's even right now, but go back to a time where your marriage suffered. Maybe you've actually experienced divorce. Stress can be affected by our financial status, where we are. Are we living paycheck to paycheck? How much debt do we have? Stress shows up in a lot of places in our life. That attitude, it can make you go down roads of depression where you feel depressed. Maybe you haven't reached actual depression, but you're on the brink of it because it's lasting more than a few days here and there. It's more like a month or two. If you're having these kind of thoughts, I would highly recommend that you go and talk to your medical provider, your physician, whether it be a counselor or a therapist. If you have a coach that you can actually be able to, confide in, and see what you need to do in these situations, because stress can really tear a body up. It can tear a life apart. And so therefore, it's the happiness killer. You also need to understand that the happiness killer, stress, is inevitable. You cannot extinguish it from your life. Wouldn't it be nice just to get that cool laser gun and go, bam, and it's gone out of your life? Woohoo, it's woohoo, I don't have any stress anymore. Let's celebrate. Happy dance. When all of it works well and I don't have stress, but you know what? Stress is a part of our lives because we are fallen. We do not always make the right choices. And sometimes it's not what our choices are, but it's choices that are made by other people. For example, you're looking at your cell phone driving and you hit somebody from behind, or you're the one who stopped and somebody hit you from behind. We have accidents in life. Stress is inevitable. It's always going to be a part of our life. We cannot extinguish it. We cannot zap it out into, eternity and say, we'll have no more. The happiness killer is here to stay. So we got to figure out how we can work with it so we can live that optimal, vibrant, healthy life that we so desire. So how do you do it? How can you do it? Well, you got to, here is your kiss. You got to minimize the stress. Oh, I know. Common sense, isn't it? I should have thought of that, you're saying. Nothing new, Christiane. Minimize the stress. Yeah, you have no idea what my life looks like. Yes, and you have no idea what my life looks like. We all have stress, and there's a lot of it, but we have to learn how to deal with the stress. We have to minimize the stress, reduce the amount of stress so your body can rebound from the negative effects. And ultimately, that's what you're doing. With your stress load, you're trying to reduce the amount of stuff, that buildup that you have. So let's think about a water heater. We are trying to sell our house and, we're going through all this stuff with the house. You've got inspections, you've got all this jazz, and all is fine and dandy. And I can remember when we first purchased our house, one of the things that we looked at was our water heater. And we were told that it's really important to make sure you use the water in your water heater. And if you're not one who totally empties it out, it's good to empty it out all the way. Well, I'm like, we're a family of 7. I don't think we have any problems in, emptying a water heater. But the thing is the reason why they want you to empty it is because over time, it's called sediment. There's sludge on the bottom. And that sludge eats through things over time. There's buildup. And when there's buildup, it breaks down the unit. We have to do the same thing with our lives. We got to get rid of the sludge. And if we have too much stress over a long period of time, then we don't have any way to rebound from it. We cannot get over the negative effects, which leads us into depression. It can have medical effects. Yes, it can. It can lead you into the psychological effects, like we were talking about, like depression and all of that. It can go into eating disorders. It can lead into other things where maybe you even lose your job because you can't actually function. Stuff is real. And so we've got to look at it and understand how to minimize your stress. That's your kiss. It's common sense, but it's not common practice. So let's make it common practice today. Let's break it down. Number 1. I want you to live out your purpose in the season. And what I mean by that is to have that magnetic meaning that draws you in. We get stuck on the word purpose. It's one of those other buzzwords out there. There's a lot of buzzwords out there. Mindset, Not that they're not important, but we need to understand and apply them. So these 3 steps, you're like, well, I could name them differently. Yeah, I could, but I want to give you something that it's going to kind of sink in a little bit. So I want you to live out your purpose in the season, and I want you to think of it as a magnetic meaning that draws you in. Like you can't escape it. There's just something about it, and this is where I'm at, and that's okay. So you're accepting where you are in your season of life. For example, maybe you have a new baby. Well, they're going to need their needs tended to because they can't do anything. They can't survive without you. And that's important. You have to take care of them. That is your number one priority, is to be able to meet the needs of this baby. So for you, maybe that's where you're at. Maybe you're a newlywed. And so your, season of life is to learn to come together as a couple. And so that's where you are. So within that season, you have to find something that is meaningful, that magnetic meaning that draws you in more. It's not just about being the newlywed and, it's also new. It's not about being new, understand? Because, for example, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home moms are like, yeah, that's nothing new for me. I'm so done with stay-at-home. Now, I actually enjoy being a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also the CEO of a business. And so I wear multiple hats. I was also a homeschool mom at one point in my life. I wore lots of different hats. And my children understood that. Even when they were way little, I would talk about how many hats I would wear. Mom's this hat today. This is where I'm at right now. When I would go in, when they went actually out to school and I was teaching in the schools and I was in their classrooms, I'm like, Mom's your teacher now, just like I was at homeschooling. But now I'm your mama. As a teacher mama. And so now I'm Mrs. Wargo to you. I'm not, hey, Mom, because they needed to understand there were some boundaries there. So in your season that you're in, you have to find out something that's magnetic, that draws you in, that's your purpose. So a stay-at-home mom, you may be saying, I really need to get out more because I'm kind of feeling a little bit, claustrophobic here. I don't have enough friends, or I don't feel like I can go out. I don't have that adult interaction all the time. Some moms absolutely love it. I was a mom who loved being a stay-at-home mom. I still love being a stay-at-home mom and also being the CEO of my business. But I wear different hats. So at different times, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, which is awesome. Love it. So if that's you, find something in that season that's like, that's meaningful to me. That brings me purpose. That means, hey, it builds me up. It lifts me up. I can actually understand, I can feel good about what I'm doing. Because come on, frankly, the laundry can go. As a stay-at-home mom, the laundry, I want it out the door. The dishes can go with it too. If I could get rid of those 2 things, I could handle everything else. I don't mind the dust and I don't mind the vacuuming. But for some reason, the laundry just adds up real quickly. Maybe it's because of our family size. And the dishes too. Those are 2 things that I could just wipe off and that'd be fine. So if someone could come do that for me, great. So I don't focus on that, because if I did, oh my gosh, seriously, 5 kids, I might as well call my life done. The happiness killer, I'm never getting out. I'm just going to be done. There's no reason really to go on living, is there? So seriously, think about what it is. And so for me, it's loving those tender moments that I get with my kiddos. Those aha moments for them when they come home and we're talking after school, or I'm driving them to their activity and we're having this in-depth conversation, or we go run an errand and, all of a sudden we're talking about, it's that connection. When we go to church, that is where I find my magnetic meaning. That's where I find my purpose. Not in my laundry, because I could care less. That's part of my function as a stay-at-home mom. But that's not where I focus it. So understand that you may not like all of the areas of the season of life, but you are to find the magnetic meaning for that purpose. Makes sense? Because it wants to draw you in. So you want to live out your purpose in the season. Number 2, chill out. I can't say it any bigger. Chill out. You got to relax and rejuvenate your mind, body, and your spirit. We don't do it enough. And no, that doesn't mean when you're on the couch with your phone, looking at your Facebook feed, that is not doing anything. Because you know what? If you're looking at that feed and you have this little thought that goes through your mind, man, why does she get to do that? That right there, stress. Bloop, 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 bloop. Sirens are going off. Your body is reacting even if you don't feel it. You don't have to have that black bear chasing you to be under stress. It can be something as little as a posting on your Facebook. So chill out. You got to find a way to relax and rejuvenate. Maybe go for a walk in nature. I mean, if I was in Hawaii, I'd be on the sand of the beach as much as I could. Shoes off, feeling it under my toes. If you're in an area where you still have warm weather, take your shoes off and go for a walk. If you can't, keep your shoes on and then go for a walk. Walking is just amazing. You know, also, so for some of us, watching your favorite TV show. I know for my husband, oh my goodness, I love him to death, drives me crazy. It's not a stress reliever for me, but he enjoys gaming. And that's what he likes. He also enjoys playing his guitar. That's what he likes. So maybe for you, it's playing the piano or singing or writing or meditation. Whatever it is, you need to do it. And ultimately, honestly, 20 to 30 minutes daily. You're like, I don't have that time. You don't have to have all that time at one time, but you need to do it sporadically throughout your day if you don't have that time. Now, for me, I make time, and a lot of my chill out time is kind of all done at the same time. When it comes to my workout, my meditation, my prayer, all of it is kind of all in one. So I take care of a lot of it in a big chunk of my day, because I chunk my day is what I do. It's how it works best for me with my kids. I've got them coming and going into classes and driving here and there and activities. And so throughout my day, you know, I may have 5 children but they're not gone all day. They're coming and going throughout my day. And so there's interruptions. So for me and how I schedule, I chunk my day. That's for another episode. We'll talk about that. But we need to chill out. And in order to do that, you've got to find some spaces. And it may be in the nooks and crannies of your day. Figure out what works for you. Maybe at lunchtime, you just need to get out. If it's not raining, get out and go for a brisk 5-minute walk and come back. 5 minutes will do your body good. And it'll do your mind good. And it'll do your spirit good. So you got to chill out. Number 3, you got to stir your heart. This is really important. You have to lead with gratitude and kindness. You're giving compassion and hope, which then prepares your heart to receive it. To minimize your stress, you have to understand that you're not the only one in this situation. And when we're stressing out, and I know I've been there, even before I'm making and recording this episode, I have been under immense amount of stress. I'll be able to share some of it with you here pretty soon, but right now I can't. But I can tell you right now that it's crazy. But if I get all caught up in that, I'm never going to have that feeling. And that's what we need. And we have that feeling, not just because we're chilling out, right? Not just because we're living out our purpose, but also because we're stirring our heart. We're leading with gratitude. And some of us are in a situation, quite frankly, that you probably don't feel real grateful. You don't have much gratitude to give. I get that. That's why you have to think about kindness. That's why there's both there. Because you have to have that hope and compassion. And that's what gratitude and kindness gives us, is hope and compassion. It opens our heart up to receive it. And that means what? We can release what we don't need. And that's stress. So maybe for you to lead with gratitude is maybe having a journal and writing it every single day. Some of you may be rolling your eyes and saying, I can't write. I tried that. It doesn't work for me. Then try the joy jar. You know, it's coming up around Thanksgiving. You know, we've got October. Believe it or not, we're going to be talking about Halloween, even though I personally don't see Halloween as a holiday. Some people do. I know good old marketing and all the candy makers love Halloween and they see it as a holiday. I don't. But we do have Thanksgiving coming up. So maybe you get your joy jar out and you have the kids participate and you only do it for, say I'm going to do it for 3 days. And then at the end of those 3 days on the weekend, guess what? Read through those around the table. Have everybody participate in your family. I guarantee you it's a game changer. And if you can't be grateful, because I understand there are times in your life that you're like, Christiane, I am not there. I am trying, but I'm barely making it through the day. Then look at kindness. Focus on kindness. It could be simply opening a door for a stranger, saying hello and making eye contact as you're running, through the grocery section, your store, your grocery store, and you're running through there and you just happen to say hi and it puts a smile on somebody's face. Or you give someone a compliment at work. You give your child a hug. Those little things, man, that's huge, huge impact. Not just for them, but for you. It has greater impact on you. It helps you minimize your stress. So live out your purpose in the season, chill out, and then stir your heart. Maybe you want some help with this. It's not easy. Man, living a healthy lifestyle is more than just about fitness. It's more than just about nutrition. It's finding that harmony, what works. And it's not easy for us to do it. So if you want help, click on the link, Take Aim, in the show notes. Aim, remember for us here, Take Aim, action ignites motivation. Maybe you just need to be able to take some action in order to get motivated to keep moving forward. I would love to come beside you. I have a free gift for you. It's a coaching call. Maybe you've never experienced coaching before. You're like, it actually kind of scares me. That's okay. The fear of the unknown, that's all right. But I don't bite and I sound exactly like I do now. You and I get to talk specifically about your situation. Click on the link, Take Aim. And let's come together. Let's strategize. Let's figure out what hasn't worked for you and what can work for you. So you can go back into your life and live, love, and impact. The happiness killer is around to stay, but it doesn't have to hide in the dark anymore. It doesn't have to hide in the day. So it's time for you to find a way to minimize your stress. Go out and remember, one step at a time leads to miles of greatness. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.